Hello and welcome to the show. I'm here on Forza 5 with a silly car build. This is the vehicle I shall be using today. It is a Ford F-100. You know, because it's not silly enough to start with, we are going to modify this and make this hopefully crazy fast. I'm just going to go inside. Look at the fantastically old interior. I hope you like the colour as well. I went to pick the strangest colour. The old American cars have some of the weirdest colour schemes on them. They did on Forza 4, they do seem to on here. And they had all sorts, they had just so many different colour options that you don't get on modern cars. Except for BMW. BMW seem to have a piss yellow colour on all of their vehicles that I'm confused by. But normally modern cars have just all boring colours. The classic American ones have a fantastic array of colours. So we're going for a green. Ford F-100. Of course, we're not going to be keeping that standard engine in it. No, we're going to go for a Nascar engine. Because why the hell not? Basically, we could put in a 5.7 litre V8 or we could put in the 5.9 V8 racing engine. And I know that this engine will go to near enough 1,000 horsepower. Yes, 1,000 horsepower in a classic Ford pickup truck. Sounds like a lot of fun, if you ask me. We're going to be keeping it rear-wheel drive, because that's more fun to mess around with. We will be putting on the aero parts for this. I'm thinking it's kind of fairly important, I'll be honest. I'm hoping for... I was really hoping for a big silly wing on the back of the pickup truck, but no, we've got the sensible little lip spoiler. God damn it. There are less of the stupid wings on Forza 5. This is all gone sensible. What do we got? We can take away that bumper, sure. We will do that, might as well. Save a little bit of weight. And in the way of side... No, not really. Very... Hold on a second. Improve... This upgrade provides a performance increase. Surely that just adds weight. In fact, that says drag minus 1%. How bad is your aero if adding a spare tyre on the side increases aerodynamical efficiency? Sure. We will put the aero improving tyre on the side of the car for aerodynamical reasons. Sure, that's the thing now, apparently. Tyres. Yes, we're going to want race tyres. I don't want... Is this 50s tyres? I think it's 1950 something this car was built. Don't want 50s tyres on a car with a modern day NASCAR engine. So we're going to go for Mahusive tyres on this one. There we go, up to A-class already. I'm just going to check that I didn't do something stupid and put drag tyres on. No, I haven't. I will remember from now on not to do anything. Well, I probably won't. I will forget eventually. But never mind. Stick in a clutch, upgrade all of this. We're going to want a modern gearbox. Otherwise, we'll probably be stuck with a 4-speed that will have all wonky gear ratios, not designed to dealing with 1,000 horsepower. Again, might as well strip all the weight out. And we definitely want one of these. As you saw, if anybody saw the uses for a NASCAR engine video we did, sometimes when you put a lot of power in an old car, the diff just can't deal with it and it will just spin one wheel. I don't know if this... I'm presuming this came with a fairly standard open diff thing from back then. So yeah, differential very important on this if you actually want to be able to use any of the... Bloody hell! That's a dramatic. That's very dramatic. So normally Forza, you know, it's noticeable. It's normally that, and then there's normally another stage a little bit lower. It doesn't normally drop it that much. Bloody hell. Sure, let's go for that. I want racing suspension. I don't like slammed cars. They annoy the hell out of me. But if that's what the racing suspension does, I mean, sure, I'm guessing that having that higher centre of mass isn't particularly useful. God, I just look at how low that exhaust is. There is a stone in the road. You've got to tear your exhaust to pieces, but never mind. We have the fortunateness, whatever. We just gave up on that sentence. We're racing on a racetrack, so we'll be all right on the most part. Let's go for all of these. Anything that can vaguely help the handling is going to be required. Stick a roll cage in this. Actually not quite as heavy as I thought it might be, and especially once we dump all the weight out of it. £2,800 is not that bad, considering the size and the age of this damn thing. I was expecting it to be a lot heavier, even with weight reduction in it. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we go to engine, we go restrictors, and boop, there we go, 994 horsepower in a Ford F-100. This can only end well. Now, what does the game reckon the statistics are on it. 0 to 60, I think that might need a gearbox adjustment somehow. And because I know the Nascar engine should be a little bit quick. Well, I mean, this does have even worse aerodynamical properties than most vehicles. But let's just bring the ratios back in a little bit, shall we? Okay. Not as big of a change as I had hoped. I think the aerodynamics of this thing are going to be against it. Not surprising, really. So 6.1, if we bring them all the way back in, sort of down this way. 6.4, no. Okay, so we're not really going to get more than 190 miles an hour out of this car. 189, or we can try to go back down this way and get a sort of like a 5 second or 5 point something second time. No, not really as quick as I thought it might be. I'll be honest, I'm going to go for a middle. That's actually even worse, going for that kind of a middle ground. Let's go for this ground then here. No. Oh, this is confusing. It wasn't like 5, but there was 5.9 again. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, I could fiddle with the gears for ages. We're going to go with basically what was standard. Now, the challenge with this, as it has been for the last few weeks, is I'm going to take this vehicle around the Road America West alternate route. And I am going to see if I can go as fast as a standard Koenigsegg Agera. The Koenigsegg set a 1:26.4 second lap time, and I'm going to see how this stupid Ford will manage. Judging by the statistics on this, the 0 to 60 time and the engine power, there could be some problems with traction on this. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it has the aerodynamical properties of I'm trying to think of the most unaerodynamical thing I can think of, and this is probably it. Yeah, it's not going to be the fastest car, but I would expect that 0 to 60 time to be quicker than it was than the game reckoned it was doing. Oh, we've gone around a circle already. Doesn't like the bumps very much there. Lucky. Okay, we've spun that round. We're good to go. The steering wheel does fill up half of. Oh god. Okay, yeah, this is pretty crazy. We're off the top of the speedo. How fast do we get down here? So the Koenigsegg was doing 180 by the time we put on the brakes. This is actually. Ooh, it's lifting up a little bit. This is not as far off as... Oh dear. Oh dear. We've had a crash. Okay, this isn't quite as slow as I thought it might be, judging by the statistics, because it's always doing 170 there, and the game reckons it'll top out at 180. I'm not sure about that top speed on this. It does have the Alfa Romeo problem, the 33 Stradale, that lifts the front wheels up at high speeds. I mean, the Alfa lifts the front wheel up everywhere. This doesn't quite do that. Woo. However, it does just at the critical moment. There's also a funny squeal coming from it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a tough car to drive because I'm guessing there is no weight over the back wheels. Again, another very lively car, this one. And turn in and power. No, power. There we go. We can put some power down now with the bigger rear tyres. Brakes. Not. I'm surprised they're not as terrible as I expected from them. Right, how do we fare around this corner? Can we take this corner without being sideways? I said without being No, stop being sideways, car. I want to go. Oh god, I want to be going around the corner nicely and then flat out here. Can we eventually maybe get some power down? Okay, not the best opening lap, but I did have a couple of crashes, so careful of the bump there. I'm probably better off leaving it in second through here actually, just to try and stop the wheel spin. Okay, up to 100. Now this corner here is pretty scary. I think we can probably take it flat. Sure, we can. Just about. It does lift up slightly. Not as bad as the Alfa Romeo. Then on the brakes into this next corner, and there we get lots of oversteer. Woo! Okay, it's not. To be fair to the Ford, this is not as terrible as I expected from it. I expected it to be utterly uncontrollable. And it is oversteery. Woo, hello wall. It is oversteery. It does like to do it's lifting a front wheel, not very far in the air. Woo. Okay. Didn't see that one coming either. Yeah, it does lift the wheel up at some of the faster corners. It apparently doesn't like curbs. It wanted to roll through there. I've not had a car do that before. But it's not atrocious. You know, it's not. Woo. It's not the hardest car I've ever had to drive. ever, which is, yeah, I'm really surprised by this. The brakes are pretty good. They're not amazing, but they get it stopped in time for most of the corners, unless I've got a wheel on the grass and then have a big crash. Yeah, lively back end on this. I'm presuming the weight is quite a lot over the front in this, being a pickup truck and all. Come on, get around this corner, and then we'll put some power down eventually. Yeah, it doesn't quite have the grip, and we are quite a long way off the Agera's time. I don't think this is going to get very close to it. In second gear, we've still got many wheel spins. Not exactly surprising though. Yeah, this is not terrible. Just weird, I know. And it isn't completely terrible. Oh, there we go. That was it lifting something off the ground there. Not sure what quite what happened there. I started turning, it got a little bit sideways, and then my steering inputs were useless. And that's an odd one. I'm wondering actually if like the back of the truck is catching on the floor as we put a lot of can we go I can't drive third person view though. Oopsie. I'm wondering if, because it's so low, if the back of the truck is scraping on the floor at some points. It is certainly possible. That's what happened. That might explain why it's stopping steering all of a sudden through some of these corners. If one of the wheels is lifting up at the front, you know, the opposite back corner is going to be on the floor. So yeah, ooh, big oversteer moment. Ooh, and save it. There we go. Little bit quirky to drive, I will give it that. Certainly got to be careful of doing silly things like that. We're going to go around again in a circle. Oh, tyres. A little bit of a bump. Okay, we're going to have one more lap to do it in. It's not going to be, never going to beat the Agera. I don't think. Certainly not around here. It's not quite got the control. But it's not, considering I put a Nascar engine in a very old pickup truck, it's not as bad as I had expected it to be, really. Right, get around this corner. Can we hold it up above 90? No, if we do, we just go sideways. There is not enough rear end grip in this car. And then boot it out of here. There we go. And we will brake a little bit earlier than some of the other cars. It's still not exactly lightweight, but it's not terrible. And slide. No, we're not going to get any acceleration. Or forward acceleration, I should say. We spend most of our time off the top of the speedo in this one. Okay, so this is where it got a bit unhappy last time. There we go, it's better through there. 162 miles an hour in a Ford F-100 at this fairly short track. That's not too shabby, I don't think. And then, no, we've got can't put that much power down onto the road there. This was the corner that caught me out last time because it's slightly weird cambering around there. It's sort of cambered one way through half the corner and then cambers the other way through the next part. Very easy to drop the back of the car on the sort of adverse camber. I think that's the right way. I can't remember. Bit and just spin it. Cause, yeah. Ooh, understeer. Get back on the track. Get back on the track. This was a good lap. Goodish lap. Anyway, well, as good a lap as I'm going to get in the 4 that I give each car. Right, up towards the next corner. We can brake fairly sensibly to this one. Yeah, it's not as bad on the brakes as I was expecting. It's not terrible. It still has its quirks. As we come into the final corner, stop going sideways. No. Behave yourself, car. You can go sideways as much as you want. No, not here. After we're finished. Come on. Across the line. In a 34-2. Let's just avoid everything and park it over here. That was never going to stop. Yeah, it's quite a bit slower than than an Agera. It's not the easiest of vehicles to drive in this one, but not the hardest either. I was expecting this to be insane, but it wasn't quite as insane as it could have been anyway. So there we go. Lap time wise, yeah, it's not the fastest really. However, we're going to go find out how quickly this thing goes in a straight line. I'm not sure the 180 miles an hour is particularly accurate. The way that that's accelerating and the gearing, I feel that it could do more, although it may run out of steam very quickly because of the brick shape of the truck. I don't know. I guess I do have the aero thing on that. I'll put the aero to 0. Maybe that'll put it above 200 miles an hour. Aero, there we go. Maybe that was screwing it up. I don't know. And whoop, what do you anticipate now? Game 100. Wow, it's like 1 mile an hour. Change. Fine. Oh, I was going to have a... Yes, I want to say that. So have a quick look. What's the weight like over the front of the car? I'm thinking here. Can we find out just here? Front 54. Not quite as heavy over the front as I expected. Alright. And then we're going to go to Le Mans. We'll go to this one. Okay, place your bets how fast you think this car can go. I'm thinking it will do the 200. I think that this just... The speed it was getting to in the short amount of time at Road America, I feel like it could do the 200 mile an hour mark, even though the game reckons 190. So we will find out. Place your bets, audience. Leave a comment what you reckon that the Ford will manage down this back straight. I may tweak the gears if it looks like it's running out of gears, but we will find out. We'll find out what it's like through these first few corners. Get back to this view, a view that I can actually, use to drive. We'll see if we can not spin the Ford coming on to the long straight. Right, I'll try and do that. I'll try and manage that this time round. Let's not go flying into the first few corners with a... Oh, we've got no aero at all. I'll change that one more gear. And then just be careful through here. Ooh, that's over the curbs. That's brilliant. Yeah, little bit twitchy, a little bit eager to get sideways, and that's hardly surprising considering the amount of power we've got in this thing. Right, nicely does it through here. No, stay in line. Then we will not run too wide on this corner. It's bumpy tarmac out wide here, so we will stay. There we go. Oh no, we've still done it. I didn't run wide there. It still found the bloody bumps. That is a horrible bit of road. That's a terrible bit of road. That is some terrible tarmac there. God damn it! Every time. That is the real test in this series for these silly cars, is can they get around that corner onto the straight without spinning themselves out. Yeah, I was being cautious there as well, and it still went. Jeez. Okay, onto the straights. We're up to 170 miles an hour already. Into fifth gear. Yeah, and then I think we may run out of air. In fact, gears are so long. There's another gear in there as well. Okay, the gearing on here is insanely long then for this vehicle. So if we drop it back down this way, we will get a higher... See, now then we're getting a lower top speed. I guess that's sort of gearing it to, I don't know, 192. Sure, let's go for that gearing and see if that works. Alright, there we go. We'll change up another gear. I think the aerodynamics just let it down. It's a little bit strange. It accelerates very, very quickly to 170, 180. And then it gives up going any faster. Yeah, aerodynamics of an old Ford pickup truck, not the best. Do we reckon we can take the corner at the end of the straight here at 191 miles an hour? I mean, I'm not sure we can, but here we go. Come on, Ford. Oh, no. Oh, bloody hell. I am fairly sure that was on three wheels around that corner. Jesus. Okay, let's not take that corner at 191 miles an hour again. Oh, blubberneck. This is a scary truck. Quite good fun to drive, and certainly not the worst vehicle I have ever driven on this game. Not the silliest of vehicles I've ever driven, to be honest. But at 191, it doesn't like going around corners, funnily enough. Yeah, suspension just can't quite cope around some of the high-speed corners with this vehicle. It lifts it up onto three wheels. But there we go. That is it for this silly car build, and this is very much a silly vehicle. I like Forza having cars like this. A lot of people were complaining about, why they put in a Vandura, why they put in a Ford F-100 in Forza, when they're not really racing vehicles. It's because we can do this kind of thing with them. It's so much fun just having a van, or in this case a pickup truck, and sticking a stupid engine in and see what it's doing. No other game lets you do that, really. And so yeah, I'm very glad to see the likes of the Vandura back, and this thing back, or this thing in the game I should say, because it means you can do silly stuff with them. And hell, getting a lobby full of these and racing them when they're completely stock, I would imagine could be quite fun. I mean, it would fill up all of the track, but it would probably be quite fun. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and until next time, goodbye.